Hey, Facts. Today I am with Jasjeet Dhupia. Jasjeet Dhupia is senior project engineer with Shell. So let's do some chit chat with Jasjeet. Hello, Jasjeet. Thank you so much for giving me this time. I have a couple of questions for you. First of all, would you mind if you give us brief about yourself?
Yeah, so I was born and raised in Delhi in India. I migrated to Canada in 2002. I did my bachelor's in mechanical engineering from a university in India. I did my master's in project management from India and also did my project management certification from PMP, from PMI, before I migrated to Canada in 2002. So in Canada I've worked for almost a year and a half when I migrated on odd jobs, and then I got my first break in project engineering with one of the engineering consultants in Ontario. Worked with them for about 2 years and then joined Shell. But prior to migrating to Canada, I was working in India with a petroleum company.
Okay, second question. If someone is coming from India or Pakistan as a new immigrant and either he has or she has experienced project engineer or a fresh newly graduate engineer, what would you suggest for them, how they gonna be into this market, the Canadian market, to get a job?
Well, the first thing I would recommend anybody is to have patience, because that's very important. Don't hesitate to do survival jobs if you have to put the food on the table. So that's very important. But at the same time, have patience, and some of the tips I would give is try and make use of certain organizations that are available for new immigrants, which can guide you in terms of job search. The other tip I would give is target your industry. Don't when you're doing a job search related to your own field, target your own specific industry. For example, in my case, it was oil and gas. See what's available in Canada, what province. I mean, if you decided to move from your homeland to this country, it shouldn't make a difference if you want to relocate within Canada. So I would say if you can do that research before you move, that'll be helpful, because then you will know, okay, Alberta is probably more favorable for engineering kind of jobs versus Ontario, which is more probably favorable for manufacturing jobs or support services or other kind of jobs. So target the province you want to migrate to. Once you've done that research, target the industry, and then do your web search. Go to the websites of your companies that you know are relevant in that particular industry, and try and do your job search through them. The other tip I would give is make networks, talk to people, meet people in the industry. One other thing I did for myself was I associated myself with PMI, which is Project Management Institute, and I volunteered in Ontario with their chapter, local chapter, and I volunteered my time towards that chapter and did some, courses and tutorials for other people that helped them.
So what about the PMP certification? If somebody do the PMP certification, is that will be help?
Yeah, so PMP is a very internationally recognized designation for project management. I'm sure it's a global certification, so people have access to it even back in their home country. Like when I did my PMP certification in India when I was in India. So these are virtual exams. You go into a global tutorial program, and then you write up your exam. You could do that in your home country and do those certifications. So what it does to you and to your career is it helps you establish and get recognized at an international level that you're equally at par with anybody else in this particular field. So I would say, based on your own particular field, be it your engineering or project management or any other discipline of engineering, you should take up your relevant certifications.
Is there any registration requirement in Canada for project engineer?
No.
Just like engineers, they have a PEGA or other association.
So, I mean, your local province, in order for you to use your title as an engineer, you have to be registered with the local engineering firms or engineering organizations. But with regards to being a project engineer, there's no such thing as a project engineering designation other than these project management designations that I talked about. But there are other institutions which offer other project management courses that you can take up.
How you see the future of project engineering in Alberta and especially in Calgary and the rest of Canada?
I think it's the place to be today, especially in Canada. And I think Canada is a place to be in the world with regards to its rich resource background. It's a very blooming industry right now, resource-based industry, especially oil and gas. So, there's a lot of prospects for project engineers or discipline engineers to be in Alberta, with especially all the future growth plans that organizations have in terms of development of the natural resource that we have in Alberta and other places in Canada like Saskatchewan and British Columbia.
Any final words for newcomers or struggler, which they are still here but couldn't find a job?
Well, I think the best thing is, as I said, is to be patient. Don't give up. And one last thing I would say is try and connect with as many optimistic people as you can. Don't try and get discouraged with people who try to pull you down and tell you why it's not possible. Look on the positive side and keep working at it. It'll happen.
So if somebody send me the project engineer resume from back home or a struggler, can I forward to you? You can have at least looked at it and give them some comments.
Sure.
Okay, thank you so much, Jasjeet, and hope this will be beneficial for the people. And thank you so much.
Thank you.
Sir.